And we want to work constructively with you, Minister, and with the Government on the statutory review process that we're glad to see underway. And we've been critical of the narrowness, the apparent narrowness of the terms of reference. And I'm now noting also concerns expressed today by the National Women's Council as to the terms of reference. We want to ensure that reforms will be introduced on foot of the experiential survey that you're conducting. And I'm glad to hear Catherine Conlon from Trinity will be leading the study into women's experiences, and they must be at the heart of the review. And I'm glad also that we'll see the experience of service providers and of the operation of the Act. But it is also important that we look at policy recommendations and changes to enhance and strengthen women's rights of access. In particular, we want to see the lifting of the 3-day waiting period, which we don't believe has any medical basis. And again, the National Women's Council have made that point today. We want to see the introduction of safe access zones law to protect women who seek to access terminations from intimidation. We want to see them protected against intimidation. And I see again today, Together for Safety, noting that there are still intimidatory protests going on around our maternity hospitals. And we're very concerned that there are women in this country, because of geographic differences in service, who cannot access terminations of pregnancy here, and indeed who have to travel still. And we know that 375 women had to travel to England in 2020, compounding the crisis pregnancies that they faced in many cases. So we want to make sure that we can give women, we can deliver to women here in this country the services that we so clearly need, the reproductive health services that for far too long were denied to us under that chill of the 8th Amendment. Let's not take so long about the review this time either. Let's not take as long as it took us to repeal the 8th Amendment. If I had known as a 21-year-old activist that it would take over 3 decades to repeal the 8th Amendment and to deliver healthcare to women in this country, I think I don't know what I would have done, but certainly, you know, it was such a relief to so many of us of my generation to see repeal finally happen in 2018. We don't want to go back, Minister. We want to ensure that we move forward, that we build on the services that are available and the legislative provisions that are clearly set out in the 2018 Act. We want to ensure our clinical guidelines deliver doctors and medical professionals the guidance they need to ensure that the Act is implemented with compassion, with empathy and with care for women who are pregnant and who are facing crisis pregnancy and who require terminations of pregnancy. That's the clear pathway forward that we want to see in my party, and I believe that the majority of people in Ireland do want to see, the clear majority as represented by that tremendous vote in 2018. Let's not go back. Let's ensure that none of our daughters or granddaughters have to live under the chill of the 8th Amendment or have to endure the sort of terrible consequences that so many women endured in this country for far too long.